the house. But a surviving uncle said that nothing could warrant such action, apparently without warning.
Israel is wrong if they think that killing children and civilians will separate us from the resistance. On the contrary, it makes us more loyal to them. I'm even more steadfast in my support now than I was before.
As with many incidents, some facts are still unclear, others are painfully obvious. Tonight, diplomatic efforts are belatedly being made to stop an escalation into full-scale war. Wura Davis, BBC News in the Bekaa Valley.
Well, the war in Iran is having a huge impact on the cost of energy. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is expected to offer support to households struggling with higher heating oil costs. She told the Times newspaper that she'd found the money to help and that the Treasury was looking at different options. Here's our business correspondent, Mark Ashdown.
Almost two-thirds of homes in Northern Ireland rely on heating oil. Unlike gas and electricity, there's no price cap, so costs can be extremely volatile.
Very expensive, you know, it's at the stage now where it's nearly cheaper to go into work instead of work from home rather than heat your house.
I have pensioners around me who have health issues, worried sick about turning on their oil heating.
In Berkshire, Alistair placed an order for oil for his tank last week to try and beat price rises. It cost him just under £300. But days later, the company cancelled it. The new price is about 3 times higher.
In the past, normally if you buy at a high price and the market drops, you're still committed and you pay the higher price. But it doesn't seem to be reciprocated from the oil providers.
In an interview today with The Times, Rachel Reeves said she had found the money to help people who are not protected by Ofgem's energy price cap. She said greater support would be given to those who really need it.
We're looking at cost of living crisis and we're looking at families having to choose between feeding their children and heating their homes. We're seeing some real concerns about children's emotional and physical well-being, so we welcome any kind of solution.
The ongoing conflict in the Middle East is also causing concern about the cost of petrol and diesel.
At a meeting with ministers yesterday, fuel retailers insisted that price gouging, where the cost of petrol and diesel is suddenly pushed up, is not happening. The competition watchdog is investigating, though. Now, there is an online fuel finder government tool now, so you can compare live prices and find the cheapest fuel near you. But there are concerns that if this squeeze on oil continues, that could hit supplies here and push the cost of filling up even higher.
A 5p cut to fuel duty, in place since 2022, is set to be phased out in September, but the Prime Minister now says that's under review. Household energy bills are set to fall next month after changes to government policy. However, prices remain about a third higher than before the Ukraine war, and this latest conflict could send bills higher yet. Mark Ashdown, BBC News.
Well, I'm joined by Jonathan Beale, our defence correspondent. Jonathan, President Trump has issued this appeal to allies for more warships in the region. What are we to make of that?
Well, you remember last week there was speculation that the Royal Navy might send a carrier to the region, and his response was America didn't need it because it had already won the war. And then today you have him appealing to a number of countries, including the UK, including China, which opposes this war, to send warships to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. He is clearly worried about the rising price of oil. The point I'd make is that even the US Navy, which has lots of warships in the region at the moment, is not escorting tankers through that narrow stretch of water, and a number of those tankers have been hit. It's probably too dangerous. We've heard from President Macron of France that he's thinking about an escorting mission, but only when the fighting subsides. The UK is saying it's discussing options with allies. But I think the reality is there aren't going to be many, if any, countries at the moment that are willing to put their warships, their sailors, in harm's way. President Trump says he's destroyed 100% Iran's military capabilities. That's clearly not the case. They're still firing missiles, still firing drones.
Jonathan, thank you. Jonathan Beale there.